Hey Scorpios, welcome to February 2019. I know this reading is late, but I have a gift for you guys. Because this is late, I'm going to offer this to the last three signs, Scorpio, Sag, and Capricorn. Send me an email with your zodiac sign and I will give you a free intuitive word for your 2019. Okay, that is my gift to apologize for being late. But let's get right into it. So three cards have already popped out for you guys, and that is the Two of Swords. Okay, so all you see is this bright light. Okay, I promise it's the Two of Swords, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so the Two of Swords is all about thinking that you don't know where a partnership is going, so not doing anything, just sort of staying where you're at, just really, not moving forward, not initiating anything, not leading, just sort of saying, okay, you know what? I don't know where this relationship is going. I don't know where this partnership is going. So I'm just going to kind of fall back and sleep on it a little bit. As much as you don't want to ruffle any feathers. Then we have the Six of Cups, which is all about doing your responsibilities, your domestic duties, and giving to your family and friends effortlessly, especially since there's somebody within your family and friends that doesn't even recognize what you're doing, doesn't recognize that within this partnership, you're not making any forward movements, doesn't even recognize that you're patiently waiting for some, the pendulum to kind of shift the other way. This person just does not recognize how much you give on a daily basis. And that's because you haven't put up enough blockers. You haven't put up enough boundaries to say, listen, you can't be my primary obligation. You are more of a stressor in my life than my job, than my kids, than my animals. This relationship has caused you more emotional grief, and it's been disguised as love. It's been disguised as a domestic responsibility. It's been disguised as just, love and how this person needs to be loved. But it's not fair because they're draining you. They're taking way too much. And you're going to see that, Scorpio. You're going to see that drainage of energy based on your finances. You'll see that in your financial situation because we don't live in a vacuum. I get so many people coming to me being like, my relationship is horrible. My job is horrible. I don't know what's going on in my life. And a lot of the times, all we need to do is fix the one thing, and it usually starts within ourselves, and everything else balances out. I just read this quote by Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and he was saying, if I'm happy at work, I'm going home, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm happier at home. If I'm happy at home, I'm a better employee, I'm a better worker, and I'm happier at work. So we really don't live in a bubble. This relationship, Scorpio, that is draining you emotionally is also draining you financially. It is also draining you in the way of power, okay? And you're, like I said, you're going to see that in your finances. You're going to see your finances depleting in a way you didn't expect, random fines, random, God forbid, knock on wood, like a parking ticket or a speeding ticket, things like that. These unexpected fines and dues come up, and that's to symbolize that there's another area in your life where your power is being drained. And I'm letting you guys know right now that area in your life where your power is being drained is within this relationship, a rocky, very deep, very intense relationship where you don't know where it's going. So you're afraid to kind of part the clouds and really get clear and really look at it. So 2018 was an 11 universal year in numerology, which means that it was a spiritually illuminating year. And it really opened up King of Wands. So this is obviously who the relationship is with, Scorpio, the masculine fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, that you've been overgiving your power and they are draining you because you don't know where the relationship is going. 2018 was a spiritually illuminating year when it comes to relationships. So we were able to kind of see where our relationships were faltering, where we weren't getting the proper love and attention that we needed. And we're getting a little bit of that shadow, the shoulder period in 2019 up until March. So we're still going to have a little bit of that 11 energy, which is all about the pathways to your higher self, which means illuminating your relationships here on Earth, just to make sure that you're on the right path. We have two other people, Scorpio, that popped out. We have a masculine air sign and then also a masculine water sign like yourself. So we have pretty much almost every element except for the air sign, right? We have a fire sign, which is Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. We have an air sign. What sign's missing? Earth sign. We have an air sign, which is Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. And then we have a water sign, which is Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. And they're all male, okay? They're all masculine. and they're based on your foundation. Okay, there's somebody within your foundation, so either in your ancestry, in your family, in your roots. And these three people, because of the first relationship with the fire sign where you didn't know where it was going, so you've done nothing, because of that relationship, it's now stemming out into the relationship with the air sign and with the water sign, and it's creating an unstable foundation, a very rocky foundation. And what you're doing, instead of going inward and really transforming yourself through that hidden knowledge and through the hidden relationship, what you're doing instead is you are overburdening yourself with responsibilities. Like, you know what? I'll just work harder. I'll excel. I'll stay focused on my responsibilities. And if I do that, then they'll respect me. Then it'll change the relationship. Instead of you initiating and saying, you know what, I'm going to make a change, you're just like, I'm going to work hard instead. And then they'll have to change. That's one way to do it, Scorpio. That's definitely one way to do it. Okay, anything else? Wow, you guys are... There's the female air sign, young air sign, and then emotional confusion. So you got a lot of people on you this month, Scorpio, February 2019. A lot of people. We've got fire, we've got the masculine and female air sign, and then we got masculine water. A lot of people. The only person who hasn't popped out is the earth signs in your life. Maybe they're just so grounded that they're not causing you grief. But you got a lot of people who are really making you feel very confused on the inside. So what you've been doing is just working hard and sticking to your responsibilities as a way to kind of mask that. I think because the Scorpio knows that if they were to go into their emotions, they do some major transformations through that. And maybe you guys aren't ready to do that. Maybe you guys aren't ready to go deep into your emotional self and get, you know, when you think about Drake, he's a Scorpio, think about his song, all up in his feelings, you know? Sometimes it's scary to go into that depth because a lot of the times, I'm sure you guys have experienced in the past, a lot of the times when you go into that depth of emotion, it's so hard to pull yourself back out. You know, for me, like when I go into a depth of emotion, I have my Pluto and Scorpio on my midheaven, so I'm surrounded by Scorpios. My dad's a double Scorpio. A lot of the times I find that when I go into that depth of emotions, I can keep going. You keep going down this rabbit hole. And a lot of times if you don't get pulled out by the proper person or the proper situation, or even just the proper mind state, that can completely overcome you, right? Like one time I wanted to be depressed. I'm crying today. And it was my nephew who is a Virgo, life path 5. He comes in and he's like, Auntie Nessa, we're dancing. And I'm like, no, I want to cry today. He's like, no, we're dancing. So we get up, we do Just Dance. And by the end of it, I was crying tears of joy and happiness. And I knew at that moment, I was like, he pulled me out of something that I knew would have spiraled. And that's that Scorpio energy. We can, really get so into it, go so deep that we spiral and we keep going, keep going. My husband, he's a Scorpio. Same way. He watched the movie, the documentary Zeitgeist. And he was just so depressed for months and he couldn't shake it. He allowed himself to dive deep into it and it just, yeah. So that's where you guys are at. You know that if you were to dive deep into your emotions, you go through a major transformation and you're just not ready for that kind of emotional investment right now. So instead you're just focused on your responsibilities. Okay. So what your February 2019 is about, Scorpios, is this power dance that you guys are doing, this juggling of your power. You know what, as mentioned before, there are some areas in your life where your account's being drained, where your finances are being drained, aka your power is being drained, and now you're really just you're scrambling. You're really just being like, what do I want? Where am I going? Where do I find the power? Where am I losing power? You're really taking a look at what you have and what you're putting out and what you're bringing in. You're really taking a look and being like, okay, I need to try and find that sweet spot, the happiness at home, the happiness at work, the happiness with all my relationships, and therefore happy life, right? The obstacle and the aid to this juggle, Scorpio, is the Star card. That's what this is. The Star card is, of course, one of the best cards in the deck. It's, shining your light, being your true authentic self, really putting yourself out there, feeling like you can walk on water, being very nurturing because you're so nurtured within, like feeling so much love within that you're able to put that love outward, having so much love, self-love within that you're able to put that outward in a positive way, just feeling really great. That's the obstacle to this balance. So it's the reason why you're trying to find this balance, because on the inside you are feeling a lot better. So you're like, why can't I, why can't I meld my happiness on the inside to reflect my outer life? It's also the aid. Your happiness and your shine and your authentic qualities are another reason why you're trying to find this balance as well. Subconsciously, you got your soulmate down here, okay? So the soulmate relationship is the reason why you're trying to find your balance. The soulmate relationship that you've waited so patiently for, which could very well be, I was just doing a reading where we recognize and we realize that a soulmate is not just one person. Your soulmate could be all four of these people here. It could be the King of Wands, the King of Swords, King of Cups, Queen of Swords, Page of Swords. Your soulmate, from what I've come to understand, is a soulmate is a person that's here to pull you back onto your soul's path. So a lot of the times we've met our soulmate in another lifetime and we had unfinished business. We didn't clear up the emotional karmic debt, I guess you could say. There was too much energy out or any energy given. And now in this lifetime, you're back to kind of clear that, right? We're infinite beings. So you've been very patient when it comes to your soulmate, very, very patient. Now that's where you're coming from. You're coming from this soulmate relationship, and it's subconsciously running your entire life. Every decision that you make, whether or not you feel it or not, every decision you make is based, it all comes back to the soulmate relationship, whether it's you're with your soulmate or you want to be with your soulmate, or, you lost your soulmate, whatever it is, Scorpio, it all comes back to this, because it truly is, I personally think, the Scorpio that can be in a soulmate relationship, because a Scorpio needs to feel completely melded in with their lovers. Like they really my husband can really it's like he devours, like that Scorpio energy really is all encompassing, especially if you're Venus in Scorpio, like you would kill and die for your soulmate. So a Scorpio doesn't want some superficial, shallow relationship. They know that the relationships that they're in are a soulmate union. They're strong, they're very intense, and they're very deep. And that is what is motivating you guys right now. You're thinking that you're emotionally happy and content. You're thinking like things are great right now. Things are very, very good. So why am I finding drainage in other areas? For instance, like I mentioned, my husband is a Scorpio. He just doesn't care, speeding ticket, library fines, my license expired. That's all these different money sources that are pulling. He's like, I don't even care. But denying that isn't going to make it go away. It's going to go to collections, right? So you're thinking you're emotionally happy, and it's frustrating that you feel like you have to try and find this balance when you're like, I'm doing great. And it's really just these other people that you're like, oh, I'm doing so great. I wish that these people were doing well too. These people are still trying to pull me down. But I'm doing great, and I'm focused on the future, and I'm feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine, essentially. This is how people are viewing you, Scorpio, which is quite interesting. They're viewing you as powerless. They're viewing you as somebody who doesn't have any control. They're viewing you as somebody who tiptoes, who can and has the ability and the knowledge and the inspiration and the guidance and the motivation to take big strides. However, people are viewing you as a tiny stepper. They're like, why isn't Scorpio just going for it? Why isn't Scorpio just taking that big leap? Why isn't Scorpio just moving forward in a positive way? And they're like, oh, it's because Scorpio is powerless, probably to their soulmate. Oh, Scorpio has no power. Scorpio has to take tiny steps because they're motivated by this soulmate union. They're crazy, So that's how people are viewing you. They're viewing you as somebody who's losing and who's lost a lot of power, which, like mentioned before, that can be pretty frustrating when you're feeling very emotionally content. I think it's because you've separated your ideals from the people close to you, and how they view power is completely different how you're viewing power. You're starting to view power in the way of, wealth being health and love and happiness, whereas the people in your life are possibly still stuck on this idea of power being, actual physical power, physical exertion, or being financially successful, being rich, or having, keeping up with the Joneses. But that's why they're seeing you like that. But you're feeling so great. It's like, I'm not powerless. I'm completely in my power. You just don't recognize it because you're on a different vibration as I am. My power is up here with love and soulmate unions and, positive expression of self, whereas their power resonates in finances, material things. And that's where you guys are feeling that disconnect. And that's where you giving so much emotionally to them, you giving so much love to them, and that they're still not understanding because they think that love is in the form of things, right? What's that episode of The Office when Michael was saying, what did he say? He's like, Christmas is the time to show how much you love somebody based on how much you're willing to spend, something like that, where it's just outrageous. And like, even like I'm looking at it like, oh my God, that really is how some people think. They're like, okay, Christmas, going all out, you know, throw a lot of money at it and then they'll love me. No, Scorpio sees so much more than that. Scorpio sees the depth. Scorpio sees how you really need to integrate yourself with somebody else to show that unconditional love. So family and friends, there's a little bit of unfairness going on when it comes to your family and friends, a little bit of imbalance going on there. And that absolutely is contributing to this power dance that you guys are doing right now, because there is something within your family and friends that needs to stop. Like I'm seeing like a massive stop sign. It has to stop, okay? And the only way to stop that, Scorpio, is speak your truth. Tell people how you feel, especially, you know, when you're about to say something and your armpits get sweaty and your palms get sweaty and your heart starts to beat and you know that you should say it, but you don't. That's when you absolutely should say it. That's kind of like the universe nudging your body. It's your cells being like, okay, getting that adrenaline pumping. You want that fear. You want that adrenaline to just speak your truth, because something within your family and friends, there's an imbalance, there's an unfairness, and it needs to be voiced and it needs to be stopped, okay? And all you have to do to stop it is just say, stop. No, that's not right. It's terrifying to do it, you know, especially when it comes to family and friends. It's absolutely terrifying, but it needs to be said and it needs to be done, okay? Hope and fear, look who we have here. We have this earth sign, which I thought, you know, you had no problems with. Earth sign, masculine energy, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn energy. You have a hope and a fear. What I think this could possibly be, Scorpio, is that you hope to encompass the energy of an earth sign, which is grounded, which is tangible, which is a little bit more in the material realm, which is more focused on the tangible aspects of life. Because Scorpio is so intense emotionally and is a water sign, so goes through those depths, it would be nice to have the energy of the earth signs, which is all about service, grounding energy, gratitude when it comes to tangible items, and materialistic ideologies, right? So you hope to have that, but you also fear it because you know what you'd be giving up if you focus on just the tangible, what you can see world, okay? So you hope for it, but you fear it, that's just fine. Okay. So the outcome, Scorpio, for your February 2019 is that you're going to keep thinking that you are emotionally happy, which is great. Keep thinking those positive thoughts. Everything's fine. Everything's exactly how it's supposed to be. Everything is perfect in its imperfection. You are emotionally content. You have all your ducks in a row. You're doing great. Emotionally, this is the keyword, emotionally. Keep thinking like that. It brings in a chance to reunite with the air sign, the fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. What you want to do with this fire sign, because you don't know where the relationship is going and you need to speak your mind when it comes to this fire sign, the best thing to do, Scorpio, is to talk to them, talk to their inner child. Don't talk down to them, don't condescend them, but talk to their inner child. So if it's an Aries, you know, go do axe throwing, go do something fun and kind of put the conversation in there while you guys are doing something adventurous, because that's an Aries really needs that impulsive energy. If you're talking to a Sagittarius, you know, possibly plan a trip or talk about ideologies and different philosophies, and then kind of, you know, come to them and be like, well, what do you think? What are your philosophies? What are your ideologies? What are your theories about this? And try and sneak it in there. If it's a Leo, big them up. You know, Leos, they're pride animals, right? When you think about a lion in the jungle, big them up, you know? I used to say that to my Leo brother. Well, you know, when we wanted him to do something, be like, well, you're just so good at it. You know, nobody else can do it. And it's genuine. He was really good at it. Oh, you're just so good at it. So you should do it. That's the best way to do it. And then sneak in. I guess like you could say sneak in, but subtly put in the fact that something has to stop and that you've been giving way too much emotionally. But speaking to their inner child will bring a huge change. So big changes are coming in for the Scorpio, for the Gemini, for the Virgos. Big changes this month, February. Yeah, and I think because you guys are focused on your emotional happiness, these changes will be very positive. These changes will allow you to spread that emotional happiness, okay? So I love you, Scorpio, so much. Like mentioned before, please send me an email with your zodiac sign and you get your free intuitive word for 2019. Love you guys so much. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share. And if you want a personalized reading, my website is below. I'm doing live Skype readings now. Not so much the pre-recorded. So yeah, let's connect. Love you, Scorpios, and I will see you in March. Bye, guys.